How do people end up marrying who they never intended to get married to? The issue sometimes is not that they didn't pray. They actually prayed. They followed instruction. They obeyed their parents. They obeyed the authorities that were over them. But somehow, they still end up getting married to who they never planned to get married to. If you go back to the Bible, in Genesis 29, there is a story of Jacob. Jacob listened to instruction. His father told him to go to his mother's brother's place as Laban. He went there. When he got there, he found one of Laban's daughter. He fell in love with a young lady, I think at the first sight, because the Bible records that when he met Rachel, he lifted his voice, he cried, he kissed her. Of course, they used to kiss as a form of cultural greeting, and all that. But of course, when he moved to Laban's house, Laban asked him, "What would you want me to pay you?" Then Jacob said, "Let me serve you for 7 years and give me your daughter Rachel." At that point in time, Laban knew that Rachel was the younger of his two daughters, but he didn't say anything. People who end up getting married to the wrong people often only get deceived. The reason they get deceived is not because they did not pray. I'll tell you what as we go on. So afterward, the man agreed that Jacob could marry Rachel. He served for 7 years, and when it was time, Jacob went to meet Laban and said, "I've served you for 7 years. Please, can you give me my wife and let me consummate this marriage?" He had waited for 7 years. Can you imagine waiting around somebody you love for 7 years? And there's no record that Jacob did anything untoward, anything impure with that young lady. He waited. He served faithfully. That is obedience. That is following the instruction. The same way many people follow instructions today. They listen to all the instructions given to them by their parents, friends, mentors, the church, or whoever has authority over them. But somehow at the end of the day, they still end up with the wrong people. They prayed, I understand with you. But what about the watching part? The watching is where some people fail. And the Bible says that after he made the request, Laban went to organize a feast. And at the end of the day, he handed over the wrong woman intentionally to Jacob. And Jacob too did not know. For some reasons, the feast happened in the evening. You can also call it the night. That's one. There was darkness. Visibility was probably low because the event happened in the night. Number two, the woman that he handed over to Jacob, who was Leah must have covered her face, because from cultural readings in the Bible, women used to cover their face when they wanted to meet the man that would get married to them. You can check Genesis 25, where Rebecca was being taken to Isaac, and when she saw Isaac afar off, she asked, "Who is that young man?" She said, "Oh, that's the person we are taking you to, your husband." Oh, she quickly covered her face. So I can figure out that Leah must have covered her face. That is true. The event happened in the night. She also covered her face. Two things that would have made it very difficult for Jacob to be able to tell that this is not Rachel, the person I worked for 7 years for. Besides that, he had been waiting for 7 years. Come on. A man that has been that faithful, he waited faithfully for 7 years. He couldn't wait any longer. And before you knew it, he consummated the marriage with the wrong person. It was the next morning that he found out that, "Oh, I married the wrong woman." And then when he told Laban that, "Why did you give me the wrong woman?" Laban said something. Laban said, "In this country, we don't give her the younger before the older." And this was the same man that agreed 7 years ago that Jacob would serve for Rachel, who was the younger daughter. Why didn't he tell Jacob at that point in time that, "Sorry, you can't marry Rachel, who is younger than Leah"? The point I'm trying to make is that, you see, when you want to get married, some people are not genuine. Some people are not real. Some people are out to deceive you. You need not only to pray, you also have to watch. Jesus said it himself. He said, "Watch and pray." If you think that your prayer is enough, you may be making a mistake. If you think that following instruction is enough, you may be making a big mistake. You see, you can follow all the instructions given to you. Jacob followed his father's instruction. Jacob followed Laban's instruction. He served. Jacob went to where his father said he should go to. He followed the instruction. Following instruction is very good. I advise you to do so. I encourage you to do so. But in the midst of following instruction, please use your brain. And what you should use your brain for is that you should use it to watch. Your brain is not only that thing that is in your skull. It involves all the senses that God has given you, your spiritual senses. Use it to detect lies. Use it to detect deception. When Leah was being taken to Jacob, was Leah also not aware that she was not the one that was supposed to be handed over? I mean, Jacob served for 7 years, and was there no news that, "Oh, this man is working so that Rachel will be handed over to him"? Was the other sister not aware? and she also just sheepishly followed and likely covered her face and went in and got married, and that was it. She probably was aware. The Bible didn't mention that, so we are not so sure about that. The point is, following instruction will help you, but you need to be a person that can detect lies. There are liars in the midst of the flock. You need to be wise. Why do people say, oh, I married him in the church? Yet, such people end up being who they never were. They were deceiving people. Be a person of discernment. Watch and pray. After you have prayed, open your eyes and watch. Watch physically, watch spiritually, watch emotionally, watch psychologically. Check properly. Don't let them give you Leah instead of your Rachel. This is not to say that the church or wherever you are is filled up with deceptive people. But we also cannot deny the fact that in the midst of the flock, we have dangerous animals. Be careful. Be watchful. Don't let them deceive you. Don't let them give you what you didn't plan for. Don't let them organize a feast to make you lose your sense of judgment. This does not mean that you should go about being fearful. It just encourages you to pray and to watch, because the watching part is really important.